Hello, everyone, and welcome. Matthew Gallagher here, Director of California State Summer School for the Arts, also known as CISA. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar on the theater application process. We'll go ahead and do introductions to start out. I'll go over our agenda just briefly, and then we'll go ahead and dive in. So, as I mentioned, I'm Matthew, Director of CISA. I'm also joined by Jeremy Guskin, our brand new chair of the theater program. Jeremy, if you'd like to just say hello so folks can see who you are.
Hello, and this is what I look like.
Well done. Uh, and we also have Jessica Hemingway from the CISA Foundation, who's going to be helping to answer questions, especially in the chat.
Hi, everybody.
And then we also have Stacy Savoca from the CISA staff, who will also be helping to answer
Everybody.
questions.
Hello.
All right. So a couple of things to get started. I'd like to just go over first an overview of CISA, a little bit about the general application process. I'll kick it over to Jeremy to talk a little bit about the theater program, specifically some of the application prompts for the theater application. And then we'll open it up for your questions. So let's go ahead and dive into our first slide here. All right, so CISA is a community of about 500 students each summer. We come together, eight different disciplines running this coming summer with about 150 faculty. So you can see there's quite an impressive rate of students per faculty. They get a lot of individualized attention and a lot of care throughout the program. We have students coming primarily from around the state of California, though we do have about 20 students or so coming from outside of California, be it around the United States or from international regions. We have a multifaceted mission. Primarily, we were established almost 40 years ago to train young students to eventually become a part of the creative industries in the state of California. The idea was to keep California's creativity in the state and then contribute to what is one of the largest business sectors, the creative industries. Another aspect of our mission is to reflect the diverse heritage, the economic diversity, and the geographic diversity of the state of California in our program. So when students come together, we are located on a college campus. For the first time ever, we'll be located at Cal Poly Pomona. A very exciting move coming up. And we'll have expanded labs and shops, studio spaces, performance halls. I'm particularly excited for students to enjoy the brand new dorm complex where they'll be living, really amazing dining hall where they'll have all of their meals. And then while they're living and creating on campus, they'll also have opportunities to go off campus, whether it's field trips for the discipline that they're studying in at CISA, or there's some optional field trips as well that they can sign up and partake in as well. Those will all be announced much more close to the start of the 2026 session. All right, so how to apply. If you're attending the webinar, you've probably been to our website already. You've taken a look at the application process, if not even started it. As a reminder, you can access the online application from our website. There's a link on the homepage to the online application. Once you log in, that home button is what you would click, especially if you want to go back to the beginning or if you want to start a new CISA application. A lot of you, of course, are multi-talented, interested in a lot of different disciplines, so you're welcome to apply to as many disciplines as you'd like, and click that home button to then see the link to start your new application. So once you log in, you can go through all of the different questions and prompts. At the end of the application, there is a $20 application fee. For anyone who might be economically disadvantaged, where this $20 fee is a barrier to apply, there are some checkboxes that you can click in a signature in order to obtain a fee waiver. That fee waiver happens in real time, so please don't hesitate. It should not hold you back from submitting an application. So follow through with that if you need a fee waiver. We also have two references that are requested. These are not recommendation letters, they're references. We just need the names of two teachers or artists or mentors, even employers with whom you've worked in the past. We contact them if we have any questions. Otherwise, we just need their contact info, and that's it. You don't need to ask them to write letters of recommendation and mail them to us or anything of the like. We also ask for an unofficial transcript. You can obtain this from your high school portal, or you can go to your attendance office or guidance office, and they can typically provide you with a transcript. Know here that we're not looking at your grades. We're primarily looking at your grade level. You can be at CISA as young as entering grade 9, meaning right now you're in grade 8, you're applying in grade 8, you're going to do CISA, and then enter grade 9 right after you've done CISA. Or you can be as old as grade 12, meaning you're about to graduate at the end of the spring. You can do CISA afterwards, and that's as old as we can go in terms of grade level to attend. And then last but certainly not least, we have a series of arts assignments for each of our disciplines, including, of course, theater. And Jeremy will be going over those arts assignments in a short while. All right, so the application deadline is coming up soon, February 28th. Now, many of you might think, oh, okay, I have until the 28th. I'm going to get all my materials together and submit on the 28th. I would recommend you actually look about a week prior to submitting your application. The reason is that sometimes students have challenges uploading their video files, or they have a question, or they want to apply for financial aid, which involves a parent or guardian helping support you in that application. And all of those things can hold back, a successful submission. So if you try to get it in a week or so in advance, you'll have about 5 business days to troubleshoot any issues or challenges that you experienced, and we'll have time to help support you in that. There is a help button that you can click in the application, and you'll be talking directly to the support team. Otherwise, you can just email CISA comments at cisa.ca.gov, and we can help troubleshoot as well. We review the applications throughout the month of March into April. Hopefully by mid-April, I'm saying this out loud, so hopefully it will be real. We'll be getting decisions out to all of the students, and you'll be invited and will ultimately attend the program. So again, apply early. Can't say that enough. All right, last slide of mine before I kick it over to Jeremy. Just wanted to touch on tuition and financial aid. Our tuition for the 2026 session is listed at $5,174. That includes everything that is a part of the program, the meals, your housing, the classes that you're taking. Pretty much everything is in that expense. We are definitely the lowest cost 4-week residential program that you're going to find out there in the world, but it is still, of course, a lot of money. So we do have scholarships, financial aid available. We use scholarships and financial aid, those two terms, pretty much synonymously. They mean the same thing. And the financial aid is given based on financial need. We encourage all students to apply if they'd like to be considered for financial aid. It does require in the online application that you check, yes, I wish to apply for aid. And then you'll see a bunch of questions that populate, which are for you and your parent or guardian to fill out. Some additional documentation is also requested. It does take a little bit of time to complete, so do make sure that you do it in advance of that February 28th deadline. And again, all are encouraged to apply. We've given up to 60% of our students financial aid awards, and we're looking at around that same percentage going into this coming summer. So please do apply for aid if that's of interest to you. All right. In a moment, I'll kick it over to Jeremy Guskin to give an overview of the theater program and then also talk a little bit about the arts assignments to apply. I will just note that Jeremy is brand new as chair, just a couple weeks in. And so we're going to be announcing a lot more information on our website, curricular information, faculty bios, etc., in the coming few weeks. So if you have any questions that we can't answer today, we'll make note of them and make sure that they'll publish up on the website in the coming weeks for you. So with that, I'll kick it over to Jeremy. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Guskin. I'm thrilled to be here and to be working with everybody who's going to be attending this summer. Um, I know everybody's a little nervous because no one has any idea what I'm going to say or do, and I promise you it will all work out in the end. I will give you a really quick overview of who I am. I really think it helps with understanding what the philosophy of the department will be and the direction we're going. Um, uh, I was born and raised in New York City on 20th Street and First in Manhattan. Went to school, grew up there, and my father was an actor when I was growing up, so I'm second generation in this. And like most actors, he did not succeed. So he did instill with me the most important thing you have to have, which was love for it and an understanding of how you continue to do this. If you really love this, you can make it something you do all the time. There's lots of ways to make this a career. There's not just making it, whatever that weird abstract thing is in your head, and nothing else. There are many, many levels. There's a lot to do, and we're going to expose you to as much of that as we possibly can. I went to, again, have two master's degrees, one from Carnegie Mellon University, the other from the Moscow Art Theater in Russia. I also have studied at the Eugene O'Neill Center, the National Theatre Institute, the Yale School of Drama, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London, and HB Studios back in Manhattan. So I have a lot of training in a lot of different places. I've also worked in a lot of different places as a professional. I've danced on Broadway. I've done a voice in a video game. I wrote for the mascot of the LA Kings, wrote comedy for the mascot of the LA Kings. That's not something most people can say. I've done pretty much everything from basically performing on Broadway to film and television. If anybody wants to know any of my credits, please go to imdb.com. But for those who recognize, it's usually things of your age. If anyone's a Henry Danger fan, I am the beekeeper from Henry Danger. I'm one of the villains, also a villain from Just Add Magic as well, and some other things if that's the type of thing that interests you. Anyway, but I have a lot of training. I've worked in a lot of different areas. There's almost nothing I haven't done when it comes to making money as an actor. The only thing I haven't done is motion capture. I haven't had the little dots and been the ping pong ball suit. I haven't done that yet. That's the only thing I haven't done. In fact, I was just dubbing a series for Amazon that's coming from overseas. So there's a million and one things to do, and we're going to expand and talk about all those skills while you're here. But the main thing I want to stress is the philosophy of the department. So, I mean, that's basically me. If you have any other questions about anything at all, please ask. I used to teach at LACHSA, the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts, for a number of years. I'm now the theater director at Avison in Pasadena. So I'm always working. And now I get to work with you all, which is incredibly exciting. I love working with students who want to do this. It's the most exciting thing in the world. The philosophy I just want to drop at your feet, the thing that I want you to keep in the back of your head. We are working to make you a working artist. We are not going to skimp on either one of those things. We are going to talk about what it is to be an artist, as an actor as an artist, an artist as an actor. And we're also going to talk about how you make that work for you. What are the skills? What's going on today, right? We're going to be focusing on things that you care about. As much as I love the classics, and we will have workshops in things like Shakespeare and Chekhov and Moliere, might even throw in some clown work along the lines of Commedia dell'arte, for those of you who know what that is. But we're also going to be talking about how creating your own work today is so important, right? And if anybody here is a fan of Dropout or Smosh, we're going to have people who work there coming to work with us and talk. We're going to be talking about creating your own work and getting the people around you who have the same vision and share your desire and your work ethic, because those are the people you're going to want to work with your entire career. And if you meet them here, you're going to be taking a very, very large step into a much larger world, and it's going to help you out immensely. So, again, the community you create here is going to serve you for years and years and years and years and years. Yeah, working artist. And the other one that I want to drop in the back of your head is we can have the party we came here for. One of the things I love to do more than anything else is theater. And when you meet a bunch of people who show up at the party and are like, yeah, this is going to be so much fun before it even starts, you know it's going to be a good time. Because you know, when you go to the party and everyone's like, man, ugh, it's not going to be fun. But when everybody's ready to go and they know it's going to be great, it's usually the best party. So that's what we're going to have. those are my two major philosophies, but we're going to get there. Anyway, I want you to look at this slide right here, core curriculum. Now, this is subject to change, but these we have some wonderful working teaching artists in Los Angeles, and we're going to be bringing in some really incredible people to be talking about the basics of acting. That'll be acting studio, scene work, monologue work. So all those monologues you come in with, we're going to be working with them. I want all that material. I want if you've got poetry memorized, if you've got lyrics memorized, which is just poetry to music, right? I want those things. We're going to bring them with you. Of course, it's going to be your audition monologue as well. But again, no penalty for extra work. So anyone who's got more monologues or more stuff that you love, please bring it. And again, anything and everything could be a monologue. I had a student once do Allen Iverson's speech at the after game press conference, the practice. We're talking about practice, not a game, practice. He wrote it all out, memorized it as a monologue, and did it. One of the best things I've ever seen, right? You can get material from anywhere. So I want you to bring all that stuff. People who love doing this, that's what we want. That's what's going to come in acting studio. We're also going to break down how you use your instrument with voice and speech. And you can see under core curriculum, it says voice, body, mind. What are the three things an actor has? Their voice, their body, their mind. That's what we put together. Movement, stage combat. We're going to have armed and unarmed stage combat. We're going to learn some punches and kicks and eye gouges and, all that other fun stuff. And then we're going to put a sword in your hand and see what happens after that, because why not? We're going to have acting for camera because it is one of the most important skills all of you can learn. If you want to work as an actor right now, you've got to be very comfortable in front of the camera. And that means the one set up in your house as well. See, this one right here, because this is how most people audition right now. So we're going to talk about the things that make you look as good as you can so you can show off your talent and all your good work. We're going to work accents and dialects, right? Which will naturally sort of bleed into character voices and other things like that. Playing with your voice. We're going to do improvisation, another key element to pretty much anything you want to do nowadays. It's the thing that makes everything live. There is actually, then we've got professional practice, which is actually everything that this is going to distill itself down into. All of this will be in service to your professional career. That's basically our core curriculum. We're going to have all of this pretty much every single day you're with us, right? We got a long way to go and a very little time to get there. But here are some of our electives because we got to keep you really busy. So, as you can see, we're going to do Shakespeare and classics. We're going to talk about Chekhov. We're going to talk about Ibsen. We're going to talk about Shaw. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting things. But again, classical acting, as wonderful a skill set as it is not something that an actor is going to be using day to day. This is something, if it interests you, we're going to hit it really hard with some great people. Our Shakespeare people are working all the time and are running Shakespeare clinics constantly. Audition technique. Let's get you some work. How do we get that job? How do we show off? If you're somebody who's only good in the performance and not good in an audition, how are you ever going to get there? We're going to work all the aspects. Musical theater. We have also some wonderfully talented people who are going to come in to show you how to act that song, right? Not just sing it, how to act it. Clown work, mask work, it might speak for itself, but the definition of clown has changed a lot over the years, and we're going to bring in some very interesting people to do some great constructive, creative work, things that are based on you and what you want to do. Comedy, all sorts of comedy, character comedy, sketch comedy, stand-up comedy. There are no other kinds, so don't ask. Theater tech. We're going to be working with the tech people because honestly, that's one of the things I love about the theater and is very dangerous when it comes to film and television. In the theater, we do it all. That's the way it works. Any job, we should be able to jump in and help because the theater truly is a collective environment. We do a little bit of everything, even if it's just stand there with the light to help somebody who really knows what it is, but we know where to stand, right? So we're going to be working with the tech department for those of you who are interested, sound design, light design. Just calling the show is stage management, right? All of these things. We're going to try to integrate that as much as possible. Directing, right? Working with your fellow students. How do we get the best performance out of them? Uh, is support going to be the best way? Yes, probably. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, right? What's the best way to support the people we're working with? And voiceover, right? Again, coming from that voice and speech and that dialects, why not put together a reel so we can talk about doing cartoon voices, video games, which again is going to be a huge part of anyone's career moving forward. Wonderful. Now you don't have to hear about any of this nonsense. We can get to the things you really care about. All right. How are we going to audition? Got it? Matthew, should I keep going? I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, why don't you go through it and I'll chime in. I'll take the returning student part at the end for sure. But
Perfect.
yeah, do the honors and I'll chime in if there's anything to add.
Love it. All right. So there's basically two parts to this with an optional part. So two and a half, three, two, three. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. So part A, this assignment A, very simple, 1 minute. Try to keep it within that time. Make it real simple. First and last name. Tell us your age and your grade level. There was something in there that said school or community. You do not need to do that if you do not want to. If you would like to say where you're from, hometown, you're more than welcome to. If you're really proud of your school, then go for it. You know, who am I to tell you not to? But it's not necessary. And then, more importantly, I want you to tell us why you want to come to CISA. All right? Tell us why. It's not about showing off, right? Be honest. Tell us what excites you. What about this training is going to make you better, right? Why do you want to do this now? Really show us whatever that excitement is, that need. It doesn't need to be anything. There's no right way to do it. If you speak honestly about why you want to come, that's what we want. And if you have an extra 2 seconds at the end before you finish, and again, don't need to rattle off a list, just speak from the heart. Last part is, what's the class that most excites you? What's the skill you want to learn the most? We'd love to hear it. And now the second part. It says 1.5 to 3 minutes down there. 2 minutes is ideal. All right. 2 minutes would be ideal. But again, if it goes over, no biggie. We're not going to disqualify anybody for finding the most perfect monologue in the world that goes 2:20, right? We're not ever going to do that. So don't worry. But 2 minutes is great. We love 2 minutes. So what we want is a video of yourself performing a monologue or a speech by memory from a character in a play. I know that sounds very simple, but it's also why shampoo has directions on the back. Just listen. I know it seems simple. Name, and you're going to introduce yourself. All right. And you're going to say, sorry, uh, the author, right? The role you're playing, from the piece of work, and who wrote it. Those are the three pieces of information. You'll take a beat and you'll go into your memorized monologue. All right. A monologue, one character from a play. Can be published anywhere, can be published online. I just want to know that there's a full arc to this character and it's an entire piece, not just something written on its own. It doesn't need to be classical, doesn't need to be anything that is we've all heard of before. It can be a good monologue from a play you like, but we want to make sure that you've read the whole thing, right? Because as my father always used to tell me, don't you think we should be at least as smart as the character we're playing? So if there's something that character says in there and it's important in the play, I want you to know it and how to pronounce it and everything else, right? Great. So that's it. I'm going to read it again. You got this. Monologue. Memorized. One character from a full play. And all you have to do at the beginning, right, is just say, I'm playing Hamlet from Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead by Tom Stoppard. Take a beat, go into it, right? You don't need to be Hamlet from Tom. And also, all right, it's a longer bit. We'll get there. Please, I want at least 3/4 of your body in frame, at least 3/4. So what we're looking at is from about who? This is terrible. No, I have to go way down here. Not gonna work. I thought I had more space. I don't. I want to go. It can be about shin height, right? I'd love to get the full figure if we can, but don't get too far away, right? There's that happy medium. I would rather you be on the side of caution and come slightly closer than go too far away because I'd still like to see your facial expressions as well. All right. So what I'm thinking is between the knee and the feet, somewhere in there, so I can still see you move, and just above the head. That's what we want the frame. See where my hand is? Actually, the real. Yeah, here you can see it. I nailed it. Right there. That's where you want the top. All right, good. Um, and please, yes, last thing, be memorized. We want memorized. We don't want reading off screen. We don't want the right the teletype app going, right? We want you memorized. I want you to know it. But that's about it. Now, here's the optional part for anyone who would like to. 16 bars of a song from a musical. Got it? We wanted the same kind of introduction. All right? Character, musical. You can say the situation if you'd like. It's not necessary, but if you'd like to. And then the song. Okay? Thank you. You do not need to have an accompanist. It can be a cappella. And this is optional. This is not necessary. It is optional if you'd like to do this. And it is also optional for anybody who wants to take the musical theater elective. Of course, it would help if you do submit this, but not submitting this does not mean you are excluded from the elective.
Okay, and I'll do the honors for this last component. So
Perfect. Now
I
I can focus on Ellie and the tiny hands attacking her.
go for it. So, I don't see any returning student names in the chat that I recognize, but we do sometimes have students who have gone to CISA and would like to come back and do another year for XYZ reason. So, if you are a returning student, you have either done theater or you've done a different discipline at CISA and you'd like to come for theater, you're welcome to apply. There's a button to click that you are returning. And in addition to all the assignments that Jeremy just went over, we do ask for a returning student essay. It's one page, 500 words, and the most important objective is to talk about what your learning objectives are coming back to CISA for a second time. And really, the goal is to make sure that you have compelling reasons to come back to attend the program again as an opportunity for your growth. Oh, there's one more slide, I think, to finish off. If I can remember, I think it was just a summary, but there was just one thing on it I wanted to mention. Okay, so just as a recap, assignment A is the intro, as one video file. Assignment B is your monologue performance as well as the optional song performance, and that's a second video file. The total running time no longer than 4 minutes. Just a few things that are commonly stated as areas for advice in terms of your video files. Make sure that you watch them before you submit. Sometimes there'll be an extra 3 minutes of a student talking to their parent or, something like that that they forgot to crop out of the video. We've seen kind of a lot of things like that happen. And just do your best. We're not looking at the video camera that you're using or the sound quality. We want to make sure we can see you and we can hear you, but really, your creative voice and how that comes through is the most important thing. That being said, that advice I gave before about submitting your video early and your application early is just so true and really should be taken into account. We can really tell if someone has done their performance and recorded it 5 minutes before the deadline. So, give it the time that it deserves and, so you can really show your best creative self. All right, so we will go ahead and open up for some questions. Both Jessica and Stacy, if you would let us know what some of the prospective students here would like to know more about.
Okay, great. Let me pop into the chat here and see what we got. Okay. So the first question here is, do you have to pay the same amount for a returning student?
The tuition and fees are the same for all students.
Great. And how many electives are students allowed to take?
At least four. We're working out the finer points of the schedule right now, but it looks like it'll be at least one a week. So I'd say at least four, but there may be opportunities to do more.
Great. And for the monologue, does it have to be from a well-known or fully produced play?
No, it does not. I would like it to be full length, but a decently sized one act would be fine. A good example of that would be like Jerry's monologue in the Zoo Story, right? It's only 40 pages, but it is a full world, right? And it has a full world, and we know who this person is. I would like it to be a professional writer. That would be nice, as opposed to like I got a friend who wrote a play, and it's about this.
And along those same lines, for the audition, do you want landscape or portrait for the filming?
Excellent question. I want landscape, please. Horizontal. I know it seems a little odd, but that's the way we would like it. Yes, horizontal is the way they do it for professional auditions, and we would like to mimic that.
And does someone have to have an amazing lighting or specific tech background to take
Uh,
the tech elective?
Absolutely not. Um, oh, are we talking about the just to
The
take the tech?
elective,
Oh, the
yeah.
elective, the elective. You no, please. If you know nothing at all, pl come. We'll start to teach you about how to wire an instrument or how to work a light board, how to call the show, like all the technical aspects. You got to start somewhere, and this is a good place to do it.
And along the same audition lines, can the musical portion and the monologue be from the same play and recorded together?
Um, Interesting.
We do ask for one video file if they're adding on the musical theater, so it would still be the same file.
Yes,
And
and
yeah.
if they're from the same piece, sure, why not? Yeah, if you've got a monologue that goes into a song you like, I love that.
Great. We have a few schedule questions in the chat here about what the schedule will look like day to day, how it will differ from like a regular school schedule. Can you speak a little bit about that?
I can touch
Sure.
on that one, Jeremy, just generally about CISA. Students are busy. They have class Monday through Saturday. Classes typically begin around 9 a.m. You'll have a break for lunch, usually anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. We are moving to a much larger campus, so the lunch hour is going to be a little bit expanded from what it was before. You'll go back for afternoon classes, which typically run until about 4 or 5 o'clock. You'll break for dinner, and then pretty much every night of the week, we have some kind of evening activity going. The activity might be in your own discipline, so we might have a visiting artist, for example, who's coming in to offer a master class or a workshop, or a group might be coming in to do a small performance. Or you might have a free night, in which case you can go and visit the performances or workshops or other activities happening within other disciplines. We have 7 other disciplines that are running, and those evening activities are often a great way for students to cross disciplines and see what else is happening, kind of get cross-disciplinary exposure.
Great. Popping back into the chat for some more theater related questions. I see some more general questions. We're going to save those for after we do everything theater related. So, should the song display a different acting skill than the monologue?
No. I want to hear you sing, and I want you to do the best job you can. And I want you to, again, musicals are wonderful because the song is also telling a story, right? So tell me the story.
Wonderful. And what about if a student chooses a monologue that's short and under 1 minute? Is that acceptable?
If it's under a minute, it's I want to see you work. Do you know what I mean? And as much as I love a minute long monologue, especially to get in and get out, I think it's going to take about 90 seconds. So making I want to see you memorize a little bit, and I want to see you dig your heels in. And I think 90 seconds is kind of the cutoff. Again, I'm not going to be a stickler if it comes in at 120, right? But I'd love to see it if I get as close as you can.
Generally, for all of our performing arts that have video files being submitted, the faculty and department chairs who are reviewing don't have a timer out. They're watching the standard of the student and their expression and their creativity. But you want to try to stick within the time frame as closely as you can. Try to follow the instructions as best as possible.
And Jeremy or Matthew, can you talk about some of the visiting artists that students might come in contact with in the theater program this year, or examples from previous years?
Yeah, so we will be announcing the visiting artists much closer to the start of the session. A week or two before, we send out the schedule of all of the events that are happening, which includes the master classes, which have taken place. So we're going to keep you hanging a little bit on that one while we're confirming all of the visiting artists coming in. But you'll get the master schedule, and what's exciting about it is you'll see not only what's happening in theater, but those that are taking place across the board for all of the different disciplines. And again, if you're free any given night, you can often go and attend those different master classes in film, visual arts, you name it, and really get exposed to a lot of different forms of creativity and different artists who are working in the industries.
Wonderful. And that's all I see for theater related questions. I'm going to pop into more general student life questions. And then if anybody thinks of any more theater related questions, go ahead and pop them into the chat. So, Matthew, can you talk about what a weekend is like at CISA and the checkout process?
Sure. So we will be revamping the checkout process as we're moving to a new campus, but the nuts and bolts of it will stay the same. Basically, class ends at a certain time on Saturday. It's a little bit different for each of our disciplines, but once classes have ended, a student can be picked up by a parent or guardian. The week beforehand, we send out a survey to the designated parent contact, and they need to basically give permission for their student to leave campus that weekend. So they can leave after classes. They can be picked up by the designated person doing the pickup. It doesn't have to be that parent or guardian. It can be a family member. We just check IDs, and the parent has signed that this person is accepted or acceptable to pick up their student. We check the ID. They can leave campus. They have to leave campus before a certain time on that Saturday night. And they then have to be back by 8 p.m. on Sunday. That's in order to get them back on campus, get them checked in for curfew. And so there is a time by which they have to return. If a student is going on a Sunday field trip, they actually have to come back to the campus early that morning, that Sunday morning. They have to leave with the group in order to attend that field trip. We also do get some questions about students who would like to just go to lunch with their family. So if they want to get picked up on Saturday or Sunday when they're free, and just go off campus for a few hours, you can definitely do that too. And on that form I mentioned, there's a place to indicate when they expect to return to campus. The only piece I didn't mention is that you do check out with your RA as well. So before you leave the dorm complex, you'll let your RA know that you're leaving. There's a sign out sheet. And then again, at the curb, when you're meeting whomever's doing the pickup, we check their ID to make sure it's who's been designated to do that pickup.
Great. We have another theater related question in the chat. Will there be work in makeup and costumes?
There is a costume department there, which we're allowed to use, which is going to be a lot of fun. I do have one person in mind to come in and do specialty makeup, but it would probably be an elective, and not part of the regular curriculum.
Great. And I have a private message here along that line. Will there be a final performance at the end?
There will not be a final performance, but we will have culminating performances for chunks of work that we do. It's very difficult to come up with one play that has 80 people in it with equal time given to everyone. They wrote very few of those for some reason. But there is going to be lots of performances from the classwork, and we are going to invite everybody from campus to come and watch.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to dive back into the student life related questions here. When will students know when they've been accepted into the program?
Sure. So I touched on this a little bit beforehand with the timeline. The deadline's the 28th. We usually spend about 6 to 8 weeks reviewing the applications and getting the decisions out. So we'd like to have decisions out by mid-April at the earliest. Historically, by the end of April is when they've gone out.
And if a student needs to move in a day early, is that permitted?
Unfortunately, no. That Saturday move-in on July 4th is the only day for check-in. So in the past, students have, if they're arriving early, they've stayed at a nearby hotel with a parent or guardian, and come to the campus thereafter, the next day. But we cannot have any residents on campus the day before the program begins.
Great. We have a few more theater related questions coming into the chat. Does it matter if someone's monologue has swearing in it?
No.
Very concise. Love that. And then out of the 400 to 500 applicants, how many are going to be in the theater department?
So the department typically has about 80 students on average. That number does fluctuate a little more, a little less in any given year, but it's usually around 80 students.
Wonderful. And um, will the program ever go back to Cal Arts?
So, Cal Poly Pomona is our host site for the next several years, and we're very excited by all of the facilities and amenities that it has to offer. The original vision for CISA was that the CISA would move every year, which would be a nightmare to figure out how to facilitate. So, fortunately, that never happened. But we have been at a variety of different campuses throughout our history. We were at Dominguez Hills, one of the CSU schools. Loyola Marymount University, Mills College, Fresno State. So this is the next campus in the sequence. And certainly never say never, but we're very excited for this upcoming move to Cal Poly Pomona.
Wonderful. And I see that's about the end of the questions in the chat. So if anybody has any more lingering questions, oh, I see we have another one pop in. So if this is another student life related question. If a student gets into the program with a friend, can they room with them in the dorms?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. When you're invited to attend, you'll receive a lot of different materials to fill out. There's a health form, there's a housing form. The housing form is where you will indicate any of the housing preferences that you have. First and foremost, you'll be indicating the gender that where you'd like to house male, female, or gender inclusive housing. You can also indicate that you have a friend who you know who's attending CISA and you'd like to room with them. The only thing to keep in mind is that they also have to indicate that you're friends and they want to live with you as well. So it has to be a match in order for that to be facilitated. But you can definitely make that request, and our housing folks will do their best to match folks up as requested.
And jumping back to electives, do spots run out in electives?
I can't imagine that happening. If something is that popular, we'll just have to offer it more often and bring it back. What I'm really interested in is what the students, what you all really want to learn. And if there is something that everybody is desperate to do, then we are going to make that a key part of the program.
We'll be surveying the students in advance of their arrival to gauge the interest in the different elective opportunities. And then I also will say you don't have to apply again or re-audition in order to pursue an elective course. So basically, if you're in CISA, you're in. We want to know what electives you're interested in taking and are going to do our best to facilitate that in the schedule, in the curriculum.
And is it possible for students to do theater and dance?
Good question. Never say never in terms of those two programs doing a project together during CISA. But we are, 4 weeks goes by really, really quickly. And there's so much to learn within the various disciplines that we offer. So you can't do like a double major or anything like that. What we would recommend is that you apply to both disciplines, dance and theater. You may only get into one in your first, attempt, and then you can try for the other one next year. But we do ask you to commit to that one discipline, and then take advantage of the interdisciplinary opportunities that exist in order to get some of that dance or theater exposure that you're also craving. Many of our students are interested in multiple disciplines, and so whether it's going to a workshop or a visiting artist engagement or a performance or just making friends with dancers or theater actors, there's lots of ways to ensure that you are kind of cross-pollinating with students from other disciplines and learning a bit of what they're up to as well.
Wonderful. And going back to student life related questions, what's the number of people in a dorm room?
So the dorms, good question. We'll likely have two students in a dorm room. There might be some that go up to a triple. They're slightly larger rooms as well. But most will be two students for a room. And then on the hallway, there are multiple bathrooms. And again, it's all bright and shiny new. They're really beautiful dorm facilities. So very excited for all of you to really enjoy them. There's also lounge spaces. There's a kitchen. There's all kinds of things, amenities within the complex to enjoy. But once we get into students invited to attend, we'll be doing some student life webinars as well. We'll show images, we'll make recommendations on what to pack, what not to pack, ensure that you have all of the information needed to ensure a successful experience in the residence hall.
Wonderful. And we've gotten this question on a few of the other department-specific webinars, just in the vein of how students should prepare themselves physically, emotionally, mentally, for CISA. Do you guys have any advice on that?
I'll start and kick it over to you, Jeremy, if you have anything maybe to add. Rest up, certainly before the start of the program. It's really busy and students hit the ground running. As I mentioned, we have class 6 days a week. And then that Sunday is certainly a day to rest. Some students really take that day off to sleep in, maybe get some laundry done, see their family for lunch if they're local. But you're going to be very engaged, very active, very busy throughout the entire program. So make sure that you come, with a clear head, ready to dive in, and with an open mind as well. Students are going to be coming from all over the state and in some cases all over the world. So, coming in with an open mind and an open approach to getting to know different perspectives and to be really challenged and expressing your creative voice, expressing your creativity in ways that you never envisioned is really the heart of what we do at CISA. So, being ready for that, kind of in the right mindset is certainly really key to being successful. And then I will just maybe end by saying we do have those additional webinars, the student handbook. There's a lot of additional resources that are continuously updated on our website leading up to the start of CISA. A lot of it functions as advice for ensuring a successful CISA experience. Again, what to pack, what not to pack. Following up quickly if we're asking for information on which field trips or arts advocacy day workshop that you want to do. There'll be lots of surveys and questions that you'll be receiving before your arrival. So really being diligent and following up with those required materials is important too. Jeremy, anything to add from a theater perspective?
I'll jump back to something I said at the beginning. I always love a good callback, but we can have the party we came here for. So if everybody shows up and is ready to have a great time, and we all recognize that everyone's doing that, I think we're gonna have an excellent summer.
Wonderful. Going back to student life related questions, we have a question about the start date. Matthew, can you talk about the dates for the program?
Yep. So we move in on July 4th. It is a holiday. So we'll likely have some kind of July 4th themed student activity that night. And hopefully parents who have dropped their student off will enjoy some fireworks on the ride home. And the program ends on August 1st, which is a Saturday. So it's 4 weeks, Saturday check-in, 4 weeks later, Saturday check-out. On that arrival day, we'll have a pretty large chunk of time, 9 a.m. to 2 or 3 p.m., where you can check in. So if you're flying in from a different part of the state or have a long drive ahead of you, you have plenty of time to get to the campus. We will have a welcome ceremony, which is open to parents, family members, and after that, parents will depart and will engage in orientation activities for students throughout the night. Sunday is a day of orientation as well, and then classes begin that Monday. They run for the full 4 weeks. And then on that Saturday of checkout, we do have department graduation ceremonies, followed by a large school-wide graduation ceremony. And then students have from about noon to, I would say, 6 p.m. in order to pack up and vacate the campus.
Great. And we have a dress code related question in the chat. Matthew, maybe you can talk broadly about the dress code, and Jeremy, if there's anything theater related dress code, you can address it.
Oh, just dress code in general? Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have a specific dress code. We do, though, have some requirements that you're dressed appropriately for the nature of the coursework that you're undergoing while you're at CISA. A good example that I like to cite is visual arts. If you're doing sculpture, you need to have closed-toed shoes. No sandals or flip-flops are allowed in that setting. You could drop something on your feet, and you want to make sure that your feet are protected. The same goes for theater, for dance, for any discipline. Leading up to the start of the program, a month or two prior to joining CISA, we send out a letter from each of the department chairs, and it will list out any specific dress requirements um, that are required for students in the studio setting and any of the different classes or electives that you might be taking. But there's no, specific dress code otherwise. I would also say in Pomona, where we're going to be located, it does get hot in the summer. It's the summer months just outside of Los Angeles. And so you want to perhaps bring layers where you have t-shirts, shorts, kind of clothing that's appropriate for hot weather. But you'll also be indoors for a lot of your classes in air-conditioned settings. So you might want a sweatshirt or a sweater, things to stay warm in case you're, in a really heavily air-conditioned studio setting during the daytime. But you're also coming, to work and to work hard. So you don't need to bring fancy clothes or dress clothes or anything like that. Really studio-based attire is appropriate for our courses.
And Jeremy, anything specific to the theater program to add?
Oh, uh, full suit of armor.
More to come, right? For
Yes,
theater.
just comfortable clothes that you can move in and feel comfortable in. The my movement teacher in Russia said it perfectly. Wear something you won't be afraid to go upside down in. I thought that was a good rule of thumb. And closed-toed shoes. I like again. Sneakers are great. If not, I'm a huge Doc Martens fan.
Awesome. Going back to the student-related questions as we kind of wrap up here, again, any other theater-related questions, pop them in the chat before we end. Do students get a graduation certificate or a diploma after finishing the program?
Sure. So we do two things at graduation. There is a certificate that students will have. It designates the students as California Art Scholars. It's a designation from the state of California to all graduates of CISA, and you'll have that certificate on the last day of the program. And then students also receive a medal for their time at CISA, and those are given out during the graduation ceremony as well.
Wonderful. And then can you also talk a little bit about college credit?
Sure. So students will be receiving 3 college credits for their experience at CISA upon graduation. The transcript actually is going to be coming from Cal Poly Pomona, and it will be listing college credits for the California State Summer School for the Arts in the discipline, in this case, of theater. So all students are eligible for credit if they've graduated, and you'll get a transcript upon completion of the program. If years later, say that you're a freshman, and then in 4 years, you're going off to college and you want multiple transcripts. There is a small fee for the transcripts. I think it's $10 for an electronic transcript, which you can request at any time in the years after attending CISA.
Great. Jeremy, we have a career-related question in the chat for you. The student thinks your name sounds familiar and wondered if you were on the comedy podcast Artists on Artists on Artists.
No, but I have worked with every single one of them. Angela, Kylie, Patrick, Jeremy, everybody. Pretty much, and almost all of the guests as well. In fact, some of them will be, hopefully, I mean, again, nothing is, I haven't, but I've already talked to a bunch of them coming to campus for our improv classes to maybe either do a show or workshop or talk. So a lot of those people, if you're familiar with the show, then you'll probably be seeing some of them on campus this summer.
Oh, how exciting. Another student life related question. Do you have to have straight A's to get into the program? And are you receiving grades in the program?
All right, so we are nearing the end of the hour, so I will just also say get those last call questions in. Regarding grades, we do not have grades at CISA. It's a credit or no credit. So basically, if you've made it to the finish line and graduated from the program, you'll receive the college credits. And then when we're looking at your application to attend CISA, we don't look at your grades. We're not looking at your GPA or the grades. We're looking at your transcript only to certify your eligibility to attend the program. Again, you can be as young as entering grade 9 or as old as having graduated from high school and then doing CISA right after graduation.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like that's it as far as questions in the chat go. Just want to make a plug. This webinar is being recorded and will be put on YouTube by tomorrow morning. So if anybody has missed it, they can go to our YouTube channel to watch it.
Great, Jessica. And do you want to just quickly highlight the webinars coming up in the other subject areas?
Sure. We have tomorrow the dance program webinar. On Thursday, we have the film webinar. And on Friday, we round it out with visual arts.
And then there's additional opportunities for financial aid and general info sessions throughout the month of February. And we kind of do a last call. If you have questions, hop on a Zoom and we'll answer those questions leading up to that final deadline. Am I correct in that, Jessica, with the schedule to come?
We could always add it. It's not on the schedule currently, but
Okay.
absolutely we can add it.
What are the future ones coming in February?
On February 4th, we have the financial aid webinar, and on February 11th, we have a general info session, and then February 18th, we have an alumni panel.
Fabulous. So keep an eye out for those. We'll be messaging all students who have started their application to make sure they're aware. And good luck on your applications, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We can't wait to see what you produce in your application to the theater department.
Break legs, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Stacy and Ellie. And we'll see you all this summer. Bye.